Today, I'm going to teach you how to kick procrastination to the curb and conquer it for good. And at the end, I also have a free resource to help you out, so be sure to stick around and find out what helped me stop browsing the internet every time I sit down to try and do something hard. Everyone procrastinates. It is human nature to do so. We have three brains: the sage brain, the monkey brain, and the robot brain. And the entire point of your monkey brain is to try and help you survive by doing two things. It wants you to not use very much energy, and it wants you to feel good right now. And procrastination is one of its biggest tools to keep the sage brain at bay. And that makes sense when you think about it. Our brains use 20% of the calories that our body expends every day. It is the most energetically expensive organ we have in our body because it runs the whole place. And the monkey brain is just trying to save some electricity by keeping us from doing cognitively difficult things. Difficult things are also hard, and that can make us feel bad. So it tries to help us avoid those bad feelings by putting the hard things off. Our sage brain, on the other hand, is concerned with the future, where we are headed, and how we're trying to improve things for our future selves. So the sage brain wants us to do the hard things that will lead to a better future. It wants us to go up and talk to that attractive stranger who could end up being a wonderful relationship for us. It wants us to sit down and focus on the hard task that will help us have more prosperity a year or 2 or 3 from now. It wants us to eat healthy food that might not taste as good as the cake, but it will be better for our heart 40 years down the road. And the monkey brain knows that this is what the sage brain wants, so it persuades it with procrastination. It doesn't say, no, we're not going to do those things at all. Instead, it says, you know what? You're right. We should eventually do those things. We're just not going to do them right now. Right now, let's do my idea, and then later we'll do yours. And the sage brain understands later really well because that's all it thinks about. All it thinks about is the future. Eventually, though, if you want to make progress on anything in your life, you have to learn that later never comes. You can only ever do anything right now, and you have to learn to act in the moment, to do hard things in the moment. And we're going to talk about how to do that right now with these 3 tips. Tip 1 is to make the rewards for the hard things more immediate. Things that are good for us have the unfortunate condition of being painful in the moment, but they are rewarding in the long term. That's why the monkey brain doesn't like them. It wants the opposite of that. It wants no pain now and rewards right now. If we can make the reward of the good thing more immediate, our monkey brain won't resist it quite as much and may even start looking forward to it. So how do you do this? Imagine the future reward and bring it into the present moment. When I was working hard to lose 100 pounds, I would imagine myself wearing my wedding suit again. I would imagine myself being fit and muscular again, and that felt good. I would also find satisfaction in being the person that said no to desserts, and in being the person who took the stairs instead of the elevator. Tip number 2 is to make the future pain of the procrastination more immediate. Imagine what it will feel like in 5 years when you're still broke and your kids want to do karate and violin lessons and you can't afford to put them in those because you were just browsing the internet and playing video games right now. Imagine the pain of having to take part-time work in retirement just to make ends meet. When I was losing weight, every time I was offered junk food, I would imagine exactly how eating that food would feel in my stomach. I wouldn't imagine how it was going to taste, but I would imagine how it would feel in my body. How I would feel gross with the sugar and the fried fatty foods sitting in my stomach. How I would feel out of energy as my body dealt with it. And it got to a point where just seeing sugary or fried foods would make my body feel that way, making me not even want to eat them anymore. And tip number 3 is to reframe the negative emotions into positive ones. If you let yourself drown in negative emotions, then you will get distracted. Your monkey brain will take over and it will try to make you feel better by browsing or eating or playing video games or something else addictive. Learn to reframe your negative emotions and to process them well so that you can turn them into positive ones. If you need help on how to do that, then check out my free course on feelings of focus. It will walk you through 5 emotional situations that you might find yourself in and how you can reframe those negative emotional situations into positive ones for greater focus and greater productivity. You can find the link in the description below, and it's completely free. So write in the comments which tip stood out to you the most and what you're going to do to conquer procrastination. And be sure to like the video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell.